the lights came back on, there was someone standing in my living room. Not a shadow, not a trick of the eyes. A person, still, silent, facing me. The power had been gone for 12 hours straight. The whole neighborhood had been swallowed in blackness, no phones, no streetlights, no stars. But the second the lamps flickered to life, I froze. Because whoever or whatever was in front of me hadn't been there before the power went out. "Mom?" I called out. My voice cracked. No answer. The figure didn't move. It was a man, tall, wearing what looked like dark office clothes. His head was slightly tilted, like he was trying to listen. I blinked once, and he was gone. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I backed away slowly until my knees hit the couch. The TV turned itself on, flashing static, and then a sentence in bright white text across the screen. "Do not turn the lights off again." That's when I knew I wasn't imagining it. 12 hours earlier, everything had felt normal. It was a calm evening, just me, my mom, and my younger brother, Ethan. We lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Denver where nothing ever really happened. The kind of place where you recognize the sound of every car that passes. Mom had just finished cooking dinner when the lights flickered once, twice, and then died completely. "Guess we lost power," she sighed, lighting a candle. No big deal, I thought. Happens all the time. Except this time the whole street went silent. No generators, no traffic, not even crickets. Just a dead, heavy quiet. Hours passed. The candles melted halfway down. Ethan played games on his phone until it died. Mom kept saying, "It'll come back soon." But midnight came and went, and the air felt thicker, like the house itself was holding its breath. That's when we started hearing the footsteps upstairs. Soft, steady, back and forth. Mom looked at me. "Did you leave you?" "Or window open?" I shook my head. We all froze. The sound kept moving slow, pacing like someone searching for something. I grabbed a flashlight, but it barely worked, dim and weak. We climbed the stairs together. Every step creaked. When we reached the top, the sound stopped. Ethan whispered, "Maybe it's the wind," but the air was perfectly still. We checked every room. Nothing. Just dark shapes of furniture and the faint smell of burnt candle wax. As we turned to go back down, I caught something in the corner of my eye, a shape at the end of the hallway, just beyond the flashlight's edge. It wasn't moving. It was watching. "Mom," I whispered. She shined the light, but there was no one there, only a faint, oily mark on the wall, shaped almost like a handprint. Then, without warning, every light in the house flickered back on. The hallway was empty. We ran downstairs in relief, laughing, crying, shaking, until we realized the TV had turned itself on. And there, in white letters on a black screen, it said again, "Do not turn the lights off again." Then the power surged, and every bulb in the house exploded at once. The sound of the bulbs bursting still echoed in my ears. Shards of glass covered the floor like frost. The house went dark again. Only now it was worse. Every window had gone completely black, as if someone had painted over them from the outside. Mom grabbed Ethan's hand. "Everyone, stay close." Her voice trembled. I fumbled for my phone, but it wouldn't turn on. The screen stayed dead even though I'd charged it earlier. Every digital thing in the house was gone, and no clocks, no Wi-Fi, no hum from the fridge, just silence. Then, from the TV, that humming static came back. I could see faint white light bleeding from the screen, flickering like a heartbeat. Ethan whispered, "Don't look at it." But curiosity won. I stepped closer. The static cleared for a second, and the screen showed the inside of our living room, our exact living room. Except in the image we weren't there. The couch was empty, the table was clean, and the front door was wide open. Mom said, That's not live." I turned around. The front door behind us was still shut. Then a shadow moved across the TV image. A tall figure walked past the empty couch. It stopped, turned toward the camera, and even though its face was blurred, I could tell it was looking straight at me. The screen went black again. I yanked the plug from the outlet. Nothing changed. The TV stayed on, flickering, humming like it was alive. Ethan started crying. "Can we please go outside?" Mom nodded quickly. "Grab your coats. We're leaving." When she opened the front door, the streetlights outside were all glowing blue instead of yellow. The air smelled like rain and metal, but the sky was clear. We stepped onto the porch and looked around. Every house on the block had its lights on. Bright, cold, steady, but we couldn't see a single person. No cars, no voices, no wind. And then, one by one, the lights in every other house started to run off. Across the street, I saw a figure standing in the window of the Jenkins house, backlit by that strange blue glow. It waved once, slow, mechanical, then its light went out too. Mom pulled us toward the car. We're leaving now. The car door opened fine, but when she tried the ignition, nothing happened. The dashboard was dead. Not even the headlights worked. Ethan whispered, "It's like they don't want us to go." I didn't want to believe him, but something about the way he said they made my skin crawl. We ran back inside just as the last streetlight went out. The second the door shut, every lamp in our house flickered back on by itself. And standing in the middle of the living room was a group of peopleton, maybe 12 facing away from us. Their clothes were soaked, dripping onto the carpet, though there hadn't been rain for days. Mom gasped and stepped back. "Who are you?" None of them answered. Then, as one, they all turned around. Their faces were blank, colorless, like wet paper masks, and when they spoke, the sound didn't come from their mouths, it came from the TV behind us. The lights are ours now. The room dimmed again, light shrinking to a faint blue pulse. I reached for Ethan, but he wasn't there anymore. "Ethan!" I screamed his name until my throat burned. He'd been standing right next to me, and then, in one blink, he was gone. Mom spun in circles crying, calling his name too. The pale people in the living room didn't move. They just watched us, their heads slightly tilted, as if listening to something far away. Then, one by one, the lights in the house began to flicker in a slow rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Every flash revealed them closer. First, across the room, then beside the couch, then right behind us. "Stay back!" I shouted, picking up a piece of broken lamp from the floor. My hand shook so badly I could barely hold it. The nearest one, a woman with dripping hair and a gray sweater, stepped forward. When she opened her mouth, A faint hum came out, soft and layered, like a radio signal, and through that static I heard Ethan's voice. "Jake, I'm here." I froze. The sound was coming from inside her. "Ethan!" I shouted. "Where are you?" The woman's head jerked toward me sharply. "Inside," she said, her voice glitching part hers, part my brother's. "It's warm here." Mom fell to her knees, sobbing. "Please, give him back." The woman's lips twitched like she was trying to smile. He wanted to stay with the light. Then the room went completely dark again. I felt something brush past my arm, like air from an open freezer. Then a whisper right by my ear. "Jake, I can see everything now. Don't be afraid." The lights flashed again. The pale people were gone. The furniture was gone. Even the walls looked different, like the room had changed shape. The ceiling was higher, and every surface glowed faintly blue, pulsing like it was alive. Mom stood frozen beside me, her eyes wide. "This isn't our house," she whispered. And she was right. We were standing in the same layout, same walls, same windows, but everything looked rebuilt from glass and light. It felt like being trapped, inside an electronic screen. Then the TV, which hadn't been there before, blinked on. Static filled the room, and a distorted face appeared. It looked like Ethan, but his eyes were glowing white. "Mom! Jake!" the voice said through the speakers. "It's okay here. The lights take care of you." Mom reached for the screen. "Sweetheart, please come home." But as her hand touched it, the image flickered and her arm started glowing, veins shining blue under her skin. She screamed and pulled back, but the glow didn't stop. It spread up her neck, over her face. "Mom!" I grabbed her shoulders, but her skin was turning cold, not hard, not stone, just light. Within seconds, she was gone. In her place, a faint silhouette remained, shimmering in the air like a reflection on water. I fell backward, trembling. "What do you want from us?" The TV answered. We only wanted power. Every bulb, every screen, every glowing line in the room flickered faster and faster until it all went white. Then silence. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the real living room. Everything looked normal again. Morning sunlight was coming through the windows. The glass, the broken lamps, even the dust, all gone. Only one thing was different. The TV was still on, showing the front of our house from a camera angle that didn't exist, and there I was, standing in the middle of the living room, staring straight into the lens. Then a small voice came from the speakers, Ethan's, clear and calm. "Don't turn off the lights again, Jake." I didn't move for a long time. The morning sun poured through the windows, soft and harmless, but everything in me knew it wasn't real. The light felt too perfect, no warmth, no dust in the beams, just a steady, empty glow that hummed faintly in the air. The TV was still showing me standing there frozen. My reflection blinked a second later than I did. Then the voice came again, Ethan's, quiet and even. "You stayed." "That's good," I whispered. "Where are you?" The TV image zoomed closer, showing my face, then shifting past me into the hallway. On the screen, a door at the end of the hall began to open slowly. In the real hallway, the same door creaked open on its own. A pulse of cold air swept through the room. I forced myself to move. Every instinct screamed to run, but I couldn't leave him. I followed the open door into the hallway. The walls shimmered faintly, and for a second I saw wires underneath them, glowing blue like veins. Inside the room was Ethan's old bed, the same posters, the same smell of his shampoo, but the bed was made too neatly, the corners sharp, untouched. On the desk sat a small lamp that hadn't worked since the blackout. It flickered on by itself, steady and white. Then I heard him. Jake. I turned, and there he was, Ethan standing by the window, smiling softly. He looked exactly the same, except his eyes reflected the same flat light as the lamp. I ran forward and pulled him into a hug, but my arms went through him like air. My chest tightened, and I whispered, "Please come back, please." He shook his head. "I can't. They don't let us leave once we're part of it." "Part of what?" "The light. It remembers things. It uses us to keep going. It doesn't want to die." I backed away slowly, staring at him. "Ethan, how do I stop it?" He looked sad. "You don't. You just don't forget me." Then his face started to fade, his outline thinning like fog under a fan.